I suppose everyone has a favorite place to play golf. I'm not going to say that the Shetlands are my favorite place, but I would certainly have to consider them. Um, I know that most people don't expect to see great golf courses in the Shetlands. I doubt that many people travel to the Shetlands in order to see great golf courses. But the Shetlands um, have about 23,000 people, not enough to support a really good golf course, but they have three really good golf courses. The Shetlands are they're located far away from everything. They're off the northeast coast of Scotland, but a long way off the northeast coast of Scotland. To go from the very northern tip of Scotland to the Shetlands, about 6 or 7 hours by ferry. That's not a very convenient location. If you go out of Aberdeen, which is much more convenient, you're going to end up with about a 15-hour trip. So these places are far away. The Shetlands are as far north as Oslo in Norway, and when you drive across there, you get the sense that yeah, they're far north. And when you travel there, you get the idea that they're a long way from anywhere. When you land in Lerwick, which is the capital of the Shetlands, it has about 7,000 people, about one out of every three people in the Shetlands. One of the first things that strikes you is the fact that there aren't many trees. Truthfully, the Shetlands are by and large brown, and they build these golf courses in places which are boglands, by and large moorlands, and you can get the impression as you travel across the Shetlands that really it's one long brown expanse of land with some very magnificent geographic settings. But when you go to the Tingwall Valley, which is just north of Lerwick, you get into something different. And you get into a place that's lush and green and just about everything that a golfer would want. So when you travel north out of Lerwick, you go across two ridges, and there's a turn for the airport, and you take a left-hand turn, and you go into this green, lush, beautiful area called the Tingwall Valley. And as you can see on the screen here, as you wind along these backcountry rural roads, you go past this beautiful Scottish kirk. The cemetery, some of the graves in there we know go back to the 1400s or even maybe a little bit before. So as you wind along, you're winding through history. You're not only winding through the green grass that you can see here, but you're actually in a place that has considerable historical standards. It may not matter a whole bunch to golfers. I don't know one way or the other, but one should certainly stop and not only admire the roses, or in this case the green land, but also admire the historical features that come along with Tingwall. So when you come up to the course called Asta, one of the first things you're going to notice is that you're down behind this high ridge here. You've got Loch Tingwall to the north, and you've got Loch Asta to the south. I gotta tell you, the course itself is about as big as a kitchen table. You're not going to, if you hit the ball 400 yards, you're going to go into one loch or the other. Trust me on that one. But you can see here, of course, that how lush and green this is, and you can also see the fog rolling in, and this is one of the interesting features of Asta, which, as they say, if you don't like the weather, wait 10 minutes. You're going to get something else. But that doesn't decrease my enjoyment of the place. In fact, it increases it. When you look across the course here, and I'm standing on the clubhouse side of the road, the entire course is on the other side of the road. What you see, of course, and we're looking down toward Loch Asta at this point, what you see is a little ridge running along the course, and part of the course is on the other side of the ridge. You can see that how small this course is. But there's something else, is they've tucked the holes into this ridge. And so you can start out and hit shots that you really aren't expecting to hit, because you've got to be able to put the ball where you want to. Again, you can see that on this course you've got low shrubbery, you've got certainly some small stunted trees, and as you go along, you'll find yourself marveling at just how pretty a course this is. Now, I played Asta 4 times in the short time I was there, and there's a reason for that. And first off, one of the things is that, and by the way, here we're looking across Loch Tingwall. One of the things is that they have 10 tees and 18 holes, and they switch the tees and they switch the holes. So what might be the third tee one day will be the fifth tee the next day, and by and large they play one layout the first 2 weeks of the month, and the second layout the second 2 weeks of the month. Both layouts are available to be played, and I played both layouts all 4 times that I played Asta, and so. But you can see here the second tee. The very first time I played the course, I played off the first tee and hit it toward the second tee. It's inventive in that way. Now that might sound as, oh gosh, who wants to play a course like that? But believe me, the variability, playing the same course and playing from different tees to different holes from time to time really makes for an interesting challenge for almost any golfer. Even if, as I did on this one, you pull your ball left and you end up in the loch, you know what? It's still a fun challenge. And I find it fascinating to go ahead and just play away. And maybe the hole you played yesterday isn't there today, but boy, it's sure worth it. And it's always a challenge. Well, I guess if you've got a second tee, you need a second green. And, I include this photo just simply because so that you could see the fog rolling down off that ridge. And by the way, both lakes are perfectly capable of turning out a large amount of fog. And we're seeing in the very last photograph here how much fog you can get. But there's something wonderful and mystical about the fog rolling off the ridge and coming off the lochs. And, you have to play real golf. This is not a course you go out and play. You actually have to golf this course. You don't play it, you golf it. And, you need to be inventive and thoughtful and work your way through it. And it's a beautiful challenge. What can I tell you? And one thing is that in this kind of shadowed valley, which is so unlike much of the rest of the Shetlands, it's difficult to describe the vast amount of flowers, greenery, birds everywhere. They love this area just as much as human beings do. This is a path to number 7. I'll talk a little bit about number 7 on the next slide. But you're walking through this. I don't know that there are many American courses where you get a walk like this, where you just simply are trudging through the shrubbery, the flora, the fauna. You're right down in it, and there's nothing manicured, nothing Americanized about this course. You actually have to, as I said earlier, golf it. This is a fuller view of 7, and that's Loch Asta right beside you there. But you can just see, as you go around the northern end of this loch, how pretty it is. Now, it's a funny thing about Asta because they can rearrange the holes, and believe me, the whole system is set up so that they can rearrange the holes and give you a different layout whenever they want to do it. Sometimes this is a 56-yard long hole, and when it is, you have to figure out what club to use, or you go in the drink. Other times, it's almost a regular par 4. So, you know, depending upon the day you show up there, may depend upon well, it certainly depends upon what club you use. It also depends upon what strategy you use. And so they make these holes fresh and, I hate to use the word charming, but they are charming. They make the hole fresh and different all the time. And so I played this course 4 times and I never quite saw the same course. So it's not a matter of moving the tees forward or the tees backwards. You've got a whole different set of requirements each time you play the course, and that's marvelous. Number 7, Asta. I don't think there are many American courses where you get a shot like this one. Particularly with this much wind going on. And you can see the waving of the tall grass here, that this one is really a wind shot. I think you've got to be pretty tough to be a Shetlander, at least from this American's point of view. So I'm just walking onto the course the 4th time I played it, and in front of me goes this lady with this baby carriage wrapped in plastic. It's about 8 degrees Celsius out there, so it's a little bit on the chilly side, putting it gently. And she goes along, and she's playing well, and the baby's snug in that plastic covered carriage. I don't know on this hole if she got up and down. I frankly don't remember. But this gives you a real sense of the Shetlands and the people who live there. The fact, of course, is that a place like Asta must be wonderful for them. They can play it and they can do whatever it takes they need to do to play it. So I really came away with an immense admiration for the folks who live there in the Shetlands. To turn out on a cold, windy, breezy day like this, I can take that. I can appreciate that. So I'm playing along on the 2nd time I played this course, and the fog is rolling down off that ridge. You got fog coming in from Loch Asta. You've got fog coming in from Loch Tingwall, and this all happens very quickly. So when I played 7, it was perfectly clear. When I played 8, there was a hint of fog. By the time I played 9, the green was about 110 yards away, and I couldn't see it. I had no idea where it was at. I mean, as an American, I guess I'm not used to playing blind, and so I hit my shot into the fog. I thought I hit a pretty good shot. I never saw the ball again. At some point in there, I said, "Oh, the heck with this! I'm going into the clubhouse." We Americans aren't used to this type of thing. And so I'm trudging across the field looking for my golf ball, heading for the clubhouse and all that. And out of the fog come these golfers. From their point of view, this was just another day on the golf course. And they somehow or other they knew how to play fog. I don't think I've learned how. But it led me, just as the lady with the baby it led me to a real appreciation of Shetlands golf and Shetland golfers. They're a tough bunch. There are good courses, but they are still a tough bunch. And while it's a pleasure to play those courses, I gotta tell you, you gotta be ready to play them. As I say, you don't play these courses, you golf them, and you gotta golf. So I hope everybody out there who's listening stays well. I hope everything is going right for you on the course. And I look forward to talking to you on our next video. Now, like any YouTuber, I would very much like it if you all would follow us subscribe to this channel. Hope you put a like on it. And you know, we want to keep doing these courses where we talk about courses that you don't usually see, like Asta. And we talk about situations and golf history that people don't talk about, maybe don't even recognize. So we'd like to continue to do these unusual things, and to do that, we need your help. And so, anyway, been a pleasure talking to you today, and good luck to all of you in all your concerns. Thank you.